Okay, let's see if this is working. I don't know if it is. Let me see here. Okay, I am. I think I'm live. Oh, I am. Okay. Okay. Oh, wow. Wow, guys. That was a bit of a hassle. I'm just going to let everyone get the new link to come on over. And if you're able to in the old chat, please let them know that the new link is open. I should probably drop it in the comments. So let's see here. I know it's working, but the chat's not coming up for me on my computer. So let me just pull up my chat really quickly. I'm going to have to mute myself. Okay. Okay, Terry's here. Let me see. Okay, the chat's working. Okay, the chat's working. All right. Okay. Hey guys. Okay, that was a little crazy. I don't know what happened there. I full moon in Gemini. I just don't know. It's a crazy day. Definitely a little bit of technical difficulties with Mercury here, but glad that you guys are all coming over. Hi, Steph, Spela, CB, Sarah, hello. So as a bunch of people come on over, and I'm just gonna wait a couple minutes to let some people get here for the 2023 predictions, but I want to just drop a couple things really quickly, really important. Next Monday on the 12/12 portal, I am speaking live at the Together We Ascend Summit. There's already, as of Monday, 750 tickets gone. I'm sure it's over 1,000 now. Some really great speakers. Your ticket is free. You get access to all the replays for the entire week. And so if you can't make any of the speaking engagements at the times due to time zones and all that, just know that you will have access for the entire week to check out the replays. I highly suggest you join that. There's just excellent speakers there. So link for that is in the description below. And then the other thing that I want to talk to you guys about, because this 2023 predictions that I'm going to be doing on the weekend, I had a psilocybin journey. I kind of went into my own personal. I did it on my own. And through this psilocybin journey, I got access to a bunch of predictions for 2023. Prior to the predictions coming in, which was towards the end of my journey, when it was probably the most potent, most incredibly blissful journeys I've ever done to date. It was one of the best experiences I've ever had, partly because what I was shown and downloaded with blew my mind. I was taken into my own womb and in there downloaded with the goddess frequencies and codes that unlocked my ability to see the Akashic records like I've never seen them before. I saw the past, present, future all at the same time. I saw different potentials of realities all at the same time. It was blowing my mind. I met guides that I have never met before. And while I was in the womb, I was told to share these codes and frequencies through a course. And so the next day after when I woke up, I downloaded everything that came through that psilocybin journey, and even more today. I was channeling information in my meditation today. So for any of you who are interested in really taking your intuition to a completely quantum level where you get to access the hidden mysteries of the universe, I literally, any question I asked at this point, I got the answers to instantly. It was incredible. And I was told that it's the womb. When you activate the womb, it is the greatest and easiest portal to access anything you need to from the universe. And so I'm offering a course called The Womb of Activation, Goddess Codes and Keys to Unlocking the Hidden Mysteries of the Universe. And the link to sign up for that is in the description below. I will be holding it live in January, on Saturday, January 7th, via Zoom, and it will be recorded and uploaded into my academy. But basically, I'm going to teach you what I was shown and taught and downloaded through this incredible feline guide of how to access through the womb everything that you've ever wanted to know, how to take your intuition to a completely different level. I'm going to also go into the power of the goddess code number 5, which blew my mind when I started getting this download. I had no idea. We've been lied to a lot around the number 5 for very specific reasons, that you hold the most incredible portal to anything you've ever needed or wanted to know within you. And this is for men as well, because men, you have an energetic womb, just like women, you have an energetic penis. And so this is for everyone. And what's going to happen is the goddess codes and frequencies are going to be embedded into all of the material. I'm going to be taking you on an incredible journey, very much similar to what I experienced in mine, to activate the womb space and activate those codes and frequencies. It's powerful stuff. So anyways, if you want to know more, the link is in the description below. And I'm very, very, very excited about it. It's incredible information. So without further ado, let's get into the 2023 predictions. This is a year of reckoning. I have all my notes here in front of me because I had to record myself while in the journey on my phone, and I had to write out all the notes after, because there's quite a bit of information here. The major thing about 2023 is it is the year of reckoning. This is what I understood from my interpretation of the visions I was shown, the messages I was downloaded with, the energy that I was feeling. And of course, we're going to find out that the spell is going to be broken. And the beast will be awoken. So let me just see here. Okay, why is that acting up? All right. When I tuned in to what was coming through for us for 2023, I was instantly brought to the month of May. I understand we have our lunar eclipse in Scorpio in May, on May 5th. And so I from what I understood from what that was coming through, I have a feeling this eclipse is going to be stirring up some stuff for us. The moon is opposed Mercury and Uranus at this time. And so there's going to be a lot going on, similar to what we saw on the Taurus lunar eclipse on November 8th, just a month ago, literally, tomorrow, is the moon was opposed Mercury. So there's something coming back around from this time. Sorry, download coming in right now. Something that happened around the lunar eclipse in Taurus is going to be further extrapolated at this time, around May 5th time. Okay, so the words I got through around May is explosive, blast off, explosion. I'm not really sure what that means. Like, I don't know if it's an actual explosion or if there's some sort of eruption of emotions or information coming out because Mercury's involved. I don't know if there's, like explosive reveal. Like, I'm not really sure, but I just kept getting the word explosion. And then the word imploding or blowing up. So it's I wasn't sure if it's something that's imploding on itself or it's actually moving outward. But it was reiterated to me, something explosive. Now, I don't know what to make of this because I was instantly brought to Poland and Russia around this time. And I don't know if you guys remember on my alchemy call in November when I was doing some channeling for you guys, I was brought to around the Russia area and that something was coming through. And literally 2 days later, I think is when Poland had the weapons accidentally sent their way. So I'm not sure, but the one word that kept coming through around Poland was motherland energy. And so I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what the desire around Poland is or why Poland is being targeted or what's going on there. And I don't even know if this is really going to kind of come through, but this is what was shown to me. So there might be some involvement here. I'll be curious to see come May what happens. The main themes of this of 2023. Okay, explosive was the first one. The next word that came in that was so fast, was denial. Unavoidable, in your face. And so instantly I was understanding that 2023 is going to be a very powerful year for a lot of us. It's going to be jarring in a way, activating very much. I was told you cannot look away. You must see what you're looking at. It is time to see all that is being done. This is the reckoning. So it's time to take accountability for things next year. There's a sense of accountability. Now, this applies to each and every one of us on an individual level, but it also applies to us potentially globally as well, is what it feels like. Obviously, on whatever's happening on the micro is going to be enhanced on the macro. And you can't see something on the macro if it's not happening on the micro. So as I'm trying to understand this, it felt like a train wreck that you can't turn away from. Like you just can't look away. And then I understood that there's almost going to be a force, like a penetrating force, that will be a rapid awakening in many with their own individual lives, forced to see the things they've been looking away from. Now they must look at this head on. This is the year of reckoning. So a lot of the things that maybe we've wanted to avoid in our own lives, the things we've wanted to pretend aren't there, if you've been doing a lot of sticking your head in the sand, hoping things will just go away eventually, this sort of energy is coming to a halt. This is not going to be allowed. From what I understood in my visions is that it's almost like people go into a trance where they're forced to look at what they don't want to look at. I'm not saying that's actually physically what's going to happen. It's just that's the way it appeared in my vision. So the next thing I was brought to after the main themes of 2023 was instantly brought to the July-August timeline. And so I instantly thought, okay, maybe this has to do with the Lion's Gate. And I heard that it's going to be an extremely ferocious Lion's Gate, more powerful than last year, which I think is kind of crazy because this year, I should say, 2022's Lion's Gate was, well, first of all, the portal didn't close on the 12th like it usually does, which isn't uncommon. It went on for another, I think, at least 10 days, if not longer. And so it's going to be an extremely powerful Lion's Gate. And it is the year people wake up from the trance. So this was said to me again. So I don't know what's going on. So I looked at the astrology of, the Lion's Gate time frame. And on July 23rd through July 28th, Pluto is squaring the North Node. And when Pluto is squaring the North Node, it is forcing us to change our course in life. Wherever we've been staying comfortable, we're being forced to get out of our comfort zone, and a new direction in our life is being almost forced upon us through the very destructive and transformative energies of Pluto. So the North Node represents a lot of your destiny, where your soul's guiding you to go. A lot of fated events are around the North Node. So on a personal level, this Lion's Gate is kind of opening up with this energy of really, again, this energy is exactly what I was getting in my my visions too. It's like you're being forced to change course in life. You have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to do something differently. You have to change the direction. So then I again heard it was like this year of reckoning, which is accountability and responsibility seem to be an energy that I feel very strongly coming up in 2023, where, you know, the last year and a half has been about kind of getting back to some sense of normalcy. And I should put air quotes around that. And there's been almost like a bit of a buffer zone in the last year, even though this year has been very challenging for a lot of us in many different ways. It feels like something that should have been looked at earlier is next year. I don't know what that is. I want to say when Pluto's involved too, Pluto always talks about power struggles, changes of power. It also talks about scandals, truth coming up to the surface where there have been lies. So I have a feeling that there's going to be obviously some major scandal next year that is going to be, I think we kind of have an idea of what that might be based off of what's coming through right now with all the Twitter stuff. But who knows? It may be something different. I wasn't told what it was. But it said the visions were basically showing me, the mushrooms were speaking to me saying like the spell is broken on different levels and in different ways. So it's not like this blanketed spell across all. It's like everyone snaps out of it. It's going to happen in varying degrees, in varying different ways for everyone. Because let's face it, we all are under some spell in our lives to some degree. There's all some sort of fantasy that we all engage in that we want to be true, that maybe it just won't. And so I want to prepare you guys. If any of you think that you're going to be exempt from this, please take a good big slice of the humble pie, because it feels like we're all going to be going through this. Personal lives on the global scale, the spell is broken. And then I have in air quotes here, because this was a very specific message, people will see. A year of reckoning that came through again. Something is awakening within everyone. Something they didn't know they had it in them until it awakens. So, you know, when we look at what's happening next year, we have the nodes changing signs. The North Node is leaving Taurus and entering Aries. Aries is ruled by Mars, the planet of war, aggression. The Mars rules the people, but it also rules the police. It's military. So I feel like there's this, I don't know how it's going to come through, but it feels like people are pushed to an edge that the beast within can no longer stay quiet. Like and I think we're kind of seeing this already in other countries that start with a C. Right now, we're seeing all those protests and what's happening there. And then they said the beast is awoken. This is why I see the lion so ferocious at the Lion's Gate. And I heard a really big roar. Again, the great reckoning. That's what they said. The great reckoning. The spell is broken. It'll be a very, very super powerful year for many, 2023. So this came in as I don't want to say a warning, but more of like a cautionary message for all, because it's going to be so powerful and because Pluto is going to be squaring the nodes for a decent amount of time, which again is about power. It's important to be grounded. It could consume you, the power. And I think that this was referring to the beast being awoken within people. It could overpower you. You don't want it to. You must stay even-keeled. Balance is important. And I'm going to go into on my podcast in 2 weeks what's coming through on the 1221 portal to assist us in this, because I also got messages around that. The messages for that came in after I did this. And from what I can see, the 1221 portal is preparing a lot of us so that we don't get consumed by that energy and that we're in a very healthy, powerful place in our journey. And then I was given an actual date, April 18th. And I was told to check the astrology. And the words that came through when I tuned into April 18th were fullness, satiation, bursting at the seams. So I started asking myself, what's in the sky on August 18th? So I had to go look at the astrology when I came out of my journey, and there's a lot going on. Well, for starters, April 20th is the solar eclipse in Aries. So it's the first one where we are starting to make that transition from Taurus into Aries. And I think it's happening at 29 degrees of Aries. So it's right on the cusp. And when I looked at the astrology, there was a lot going on the 18th and like around the 20th. So the sun, the moon, and Jupiter's a bit of a wide one here, is squaring Pluto. So again, Pluto's kind of creating this massive square to the sun and moon in Aries, which again represents the people, represents war, military, police, aggression. It's got other things. It also has a very positive side, Mars. It's about standing up for yourself. It's about being highly motivated and energized and wanting to fulfill your desires and all of them, really kind of go after what is true for you. But what's happening is Chiron, which is in Aries, is square Mars, the ruler of this solar eclipse in Aries. And Mars will be in Cancer at this time. And this will cause this need to face a wound head on. And it could create a very raw crisis with that kind of energy of Chiron squaring Mars. And so when you have that need to face a wound head on and a very raw kind of crisis energy coming to the surface, with Mars being the ruler of the solar eclipse in Aries on April 20th, that's pretty intense. On top of that, we also have Saturn, which will be in Pisces, squaring Venus in Gemini. So you've got this, Saturn is very much around authority, and Pisces can talk about illusions, confusion, fantasies. Venus represents money. Gemini is the sign of technology, communications. I just think there's going to be something around crypto and economy, something like transactions, because Gemini rules transactions and things. I don't know. Something's going to happen around that, I think, is going to be somehow involved in this. And then the other square, because if that wasn't enough, Black Moon Lilith in Leo will be square Mercury and Uranus in Taurus. So this is creating a sudden need to stand up for yourself, to possibly protest. There is a deep need to express yourself freely, to make someone understand your ideas. This energy is so intense. It 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 how do I say this? It frightens me a little bit. I mean, in the sense of the potential of the energy, where it goes. Now, this doesn't mean that everyone's going to experience this kind of energy. Remember where you are in your own journey, what's going on in your own chart, how you choose to experience anything is going to dictate a lot of this. But it feels like something around that April 18th mark, we're going to see, again, the word explosive is definitely coming into play here. Like, and when I look at the words I was given, fullness, satiation, bursting at the seams, I instantly just get this energy of can't take anymore, or something is trying to reveal itself and it just can't stay contained anymore. So 2023 is truly about the stuff we can no longer avoid, but it's also about a deep awakening because there's been too long of an avoidance. And the last year and a half to 2 years, we have been prepped with this Saturn-Uranus square, which we're now finally coming away from, which, thank goodness, that was really meant for all of us to get our stuff in order when whatever houses the Saturn and Uranus were playing for you in your chart, but really get things in order so that you're in a place of opportunity to thrive and be rewarded. The people that didn't do that, the people that didn't actually face the challenges and obstacles that they truly needed to face, I think are going to experience this a little bit more painfully. But that doesn't mean that if you did do the work that you're not going to experience something out of this, because it feels like we're all being forced to look at something we cannot look away from. And I really don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. But it does feel like some sort of trance is jolted, like stopped to some degree in all of us, wherever we may not have been wanting to really see the things we should have been seeing, paying attention to the things we should have been paying attention to, like the red flags. And this could just be simply in your own life. What were the red flags in your own life that you haven't been paying attention to? We've got it's a big year. If you were listening to the podcast last night with Mary Ducina, we talked Saturn is making a transition from Aquarius to Pisces. Pluto is making its transition for the first time in 16 years from Capricorn to Aquarius. The nodes are changing from the Taurus Scorpio axis to the Aries Libra axes. Jupiter is going to be moving from Aries into Taurus. Venus is retrograde next year for 4 months. It's going to be 4 months in Leo. So there's a lot going on. It's a very strong, energetic year. Now, next week on the podcast, I have a financial astrologer coming on, Samadharma, and he's incredible. He's accurately predicted a lot with crypto, the FTX scandal, money, how the dollar's going to be doing. And he's coming on next week to fill us in on more of this. And him and I go into a little bit more detail of some of the stuff that I'm talking to you guys about now, on what we can expect. But the thing here is, I want to say the Great Reckoning in a way is really beautiful because it's time to show up. And I feel like there's going to be this power transfer, or maybe a power reclamation, where we have still been giving it away in our lives and we're now saying no more. It's time to really step into this next level version of ourselves that perhaps we've been shying away from, that no longer can we shy away from. I do want to say I feel like next year is going to have huge opportunities for people who are ready to seize those opportunities. Whenever there is crisis, there's always opportunity as well. It doesn't mean that you look for opportunity on the backs of other people's crises. That's not what I'm talking about. It's just knowing that when something is being destroyed or broken down or falling apart, there is a need to build something else, and likely something else is already being built. Have your eyes and ears and intuitive knowing peeled for that in your life of where you're feeling guided to go, because it's going to play out differently for a lot of us. In some ways, there's going to be a lot of similar themes, but you have an opportunity here to put yourself into a very great opportunity of I want to say pouncing at the right moment. The timing is crucial. And I feel like there's a moment of timing here for a lot of us in knowing when the gift arrives to be ready to unwrap it and put it into play. So when you get that perfect pitch, you're ready to swing and knock it out of the park. And that's what I feel like is possibly coming here for us. So again, just to kind of recap, there is such a theme of power next year. It is so important for you to stay grounded, to stay balanced, to be emotionally in check with yourself. Continue to do the healing. Look for what's getting triggered a lot in your life, because this sort of energy, if not kept in check, can really consume a person. And it's not, I don't want to say it's not meant for that, because we're all here to experience what we're here to experience. But there are more beneficial ways to utilize the energies than to be, I want to say, at the mercy of the energies. You can still be in the driver's seat of this. You can absolutely be in the driver's seat. And I think many of you know that and are positioning yourself to continue to stay in the driver's seat. So just be mindful that allowing for more of the compassion, the tenderness, the kindness, to be ever present in your days, so that you don't forget why you're here, who you are, and what you're here to do. I think that can get clouded in energy that is coming through next year if you're not paying attention and you're just kind of, I don't want to say going with the flow, because going with the flow is great, but you're not paying attention. It's just, sometimes you just get caught up in things. You stop paying attention. You're a little less conscious. And that's when accidents can happen. And it feels like accidents might be a theme of 2023 too, as I say that out loud. So, in my mushroom journey, I was introduced to this being, a feline being. She's absolutely stunning, 14 feet tall. Her ears had 2 black lines going through each ear, almost as if like the line wasn't even part of her body. I don't know. It was so, I've never seen anything like it before. And her eyes were oval and completely white. And she had such a strong feminine presence to her. Her name is Niet. And it, from what I could see, I believe it's spelled Neet, but it's pronounced Niet. And she has asked me to work with her, to channel her. She's going to be delivering transmissions in the Womb of Activation online webinar that I'm going to be doing on January 7th. And I'm going to start seeing if I can channel her a little more, because she gave me some downloads today in my meditation for the course, things from ancient civilizations that were done to activate the womb space for opening the portal to the secrets of the universe. So very interesting stuff. I was absolutely mind blown when I came out of this journey on Saturday. I felt like I was in heaven for the last 3 hours. It was the most blissful, peaceful, calm, intuitive waters I was sitting in. And the visions I was shown and had access to were beyond anything I've ever experienced before. So today I was kind of in my meditation utilizing what I was shown, coming up with the technique that I'm going to teach you guys who sign up for this. And I'm going to say this: it is not for the fair-hearted. This is intense. There will be some sexual energy in this. It's not going to be like X-rated or anything like that. But one of the things I was being shown today in my meditation was the power of the pleasure principle and activating, and what happens when you activate it within the womb space for opening this portal. So it's a very interesting experience that I'll be taking any one of you guys who signs up for this through for the very first time. So I highly suggest, if it's something you're really looking to take your intuition to the next level, really looking to connect, wanting the answers that you know you're ready to receive, this is definitely something worth looking into. And with that, is there anything else I want to say? I think that's good. Let me just tune into the live chat here. Suiterbug, hey. Anzu, during a meditation once, a snow leopard-looking feline brought you to a snowy place and produced a scepter from its own body and gave it to me, which it felt significantly. I saw a scepter today. That's interesting that you say that. That came through in my vision when I was being taken back to an ancient time where they were performing a ceremony, which was really cool. Okay. Anzu, collectively, could it be humanity coming to light in some ways about the shadows of Earth and disclosure knowledge after the populace has had their heads in the sand for so long? I believe that's part of it, but I believe it goes even deeper than that. I believe that even those who believe they're in the disclosure community are going to be shocked as well. That there's things that it's going to happen on both sides of the aisle, I want to say. So prepare yourself, because listen, there's so much misinformation out there too that it feels like we're all kind of going to have our heads spinning in some way, and even when we take it away from the global scale and you bring it down to your own personal life, because I think it's really important to focus on that first and foremost, is that what are the things that have been happening in your life, the red flags perhaps that you've maybe been giving too much leeway, turning a blind eye to, things that, you know, are perhaps sabotaging or destroying, or I want to say even weakening what it is that you're really meant to be on a path for. And so sometimes when I have a feeling a lot of our egos are gonna, because even Aries, you know, Aries Mars, it's a very ego energy in its shadow. And I think all of us are going to have an ego check at some point next year. So just something, and that's why it's so important to have compassion, because we're all going to be in the same boat. And let's face it, we all are in the same boat. And it feels, here's the really beautiful thing that I do get though around 2023. It feels like there is a sense of community coming together, like the rift whatever rift has been expanding and moving further and further, wider and wider, feels like it's going to start to recede in a sense of get smaller. It feels like that that divide is going to start minimizing. And there is this sense of people coming together for a common cause. I'm not sure what this common cause may be, but it's something that the majority of people can get on board with, that can look at it objectively and see something's not right. So we'll see what happens whenever there is some kind of crisis coming up, though. It does bring people together. We start to lean on each other more. We saw this in 2020, where with neighbors. Not always. Some people were really, they're big assholes to their neighbors, but we did see people coming together, and we saw the kindness of humanity coming through. And I think that's what we're going to see in 2023 as a result too, which I love. I think that's important. And when we think about the nodes also leaving Scorpio into Libra, Libra represents our emotions. It represents balance. It represents the middle road. And so there's something we're having to excrete, remove, that's no longer good for us when it came to how we were approaching the middle road, how we approached balance and our relationships and all of that. So I do feel like there is a possibility for repair. And at the same time, there's going to be people who go in a completely different direction. But the ones who are ready for healing and ready to really learn the lesson that I think many of us have been going through, and there's been multiple lessons we've all been going through, I think we're going to see a shift around that next year. Later in the year is what I'm getting, later in the year, like the fall. So yeah, that would be when the Libra eclipse would be happening. I think it's in October. So, Steve, how are you? Good to see you. So guys, that's the predictions. I'm going to leave it there for now. Sorry about the technical difficulties at the beginning. I hope everyone was able to find this link, and I'm going to have to go and delete the other one. But again, I love you guys. Next week's podcast is going to be absolute fire. You're going to love it. And for those of you in my Alchemy program, we got our live call this Sunday. If you'd like to join Alchemy, please do. We're going to be going to the live call, and I've got the whole plan is already put out in front of me. And I am going to channel Niet for us on Sunday's call and see what she has to share with us. And I guess that's it for right now. Oh yeah. And of course, if you want to join the free live summit next week, I'll be speaking on the 1212 portal Monday for Together We Ascend. Free tickets are in the description below. Love to see you there. It's going to be a lot of fun. And there's some really great speakers. So guys, have an incredible evening. I know it's the full moon in Gemini tonight in just a few hours. If you're on the road, be calm, be calm, be calm. Do not, for the next 24 hours, do anything crazy in your vehicle or on the road. Gemini rules transportation and cars, and with Mars retrograde in there, and conjunct the moon, it could be a very explosively emotional period. Mind your words. Be careful about what you do. You don't want this to be a time where you can't take back what you said or you can't take back what you did, because this energy is kind of ripe for it. But there's also a lot of positives that can come out of this Gemini full moon. I think it's a time where you're going to finally make a choice that's been difficult to make, but you're ready to make it. And you're starting to see the path ahead of you a little bit more clearly, not fully yet, but you're starting to get some understanding of this new path or direction that needs to be discovered or thought about. And it's something that we'll still have a little bit of confusion around it because we've got that Neptune square happening, but it's starting to reveal itself. So just take your time, be steady, 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 and you're going to do really well with this full moon. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below how you felt with these messages. And just know that I do feel like this is a very empowering year. Power is a very big theme. And if you're ready to take responsibility for yourself and what you're ready to bring into this world, I think that there's great opportunities here for you. So I love you guys. Have an incredible evening, and I'll see you soon.